The next morning, we wake up early like usual. After getting ready and packing my things, I meet the rest of the team downstairs. Amelia's parents wait for us by the door as we finish gathering our things. Her mother's lip trembles as she watches us pack.
Are you sure you need to leave so soon?
Yes, the cops will be here shortly looking for us. Leanna smiles softly.
I wish we could stay longer, but we must be going. Thank you very much for your hospitality.
And aiding and abetting.
Of course. You're all welcome here at any time.
Amelia's mom hands us parcels.
I packed all of you some food for your journey.
Oh, we couldn't possibly.
She tuts and forces the parcel into her hands.
I won't take no for an answer.
Amelia packs hers without protest and the rest of us follow suit. We turn to her family one last time before leaving.
Thank you again.
It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Thanks. It was nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Farewell, Mother. Father.
Her mother squeezes each of us in one big hug. When she hugs Leanna, she pauses.
Please take care of our daughter.
I will.
After one final goodbye, we leave their house and make our way back towards the town. We pass the inn and other shops. We don't make any stops. Eventually, we pass through the town gates. We continue down the familiar dirt path surrounded by greenery. Most of our journey is uneventful. I've become more accustomed to the walking and the silences, but I still wish the journeys to our destination weren't so long. It can get pretty boring. Just as I think that, something darts in front of me. It's not important. It's probably just some scared animal. No point making a fuss over it or scaring it further. The creature disappears into a bush. The pongo waddles over to the bush and watches it curiously.
Boy?
The bush remains still. The pongo cocks its head to the side. Then he sticks his head into the bush. He immediately retreats as a claw swipes at him. He rushes back to me and hides behind my leg. He huffs. I mean, you did just go and bother it. The pongo pouts, looking betrayed.
Boy?
I shrug. So, what was that thing?
It's a sabali.
Leanna seems more excited than usual to see an animal. What's that?
Basically an overgrown rodent.
Untrue. Sabali are not part of the rodent family.
They're way cuter than rodents.
I didn't get a very good look at the thing when it raced by. But what is it? Because from what I saw, it looked kind of like a baby bear with long claws and a very short tail.
That's a pretty accurate description, actually.
They're very rare. Since you saw one, you're going to have good luck.
Zach looks unimpressed.
I don't see how lucky it can be if it almost tripped him up.
We share a sentiment there, Zach.
Well, they tend to hide from people. If one lets you spot it, then that must mean you're special.
In the head.
Such superstitions originated back when primitive societies were learning to recognize dangerous species from harmless ones. Because the sabali feed on insects and small rodents many would deem to be pests, they are recognized as a harmless and even helpful animal. As such, many humans wish to domesticate them as pets. But the sabali are timid creatures and shy away from most other animals, especially ones which are considered threatening.
So it's kind of cat-like, from what I understand, just with a shorter tail.
Thus, the sabali were regarded as lucky due to the difficult nature of witnessing one. In reality, there is no luck involved.
I see. Kara pouts playfully at Amelia.
Aw, come on, Amy. Let them keep their superstitions.
Amelia's eyes widen.
Amy?
Sure, that's your name, right? It's what your parents called you.
It is, but
Amelia pauses, then seems to regain her composure.
my name is Amelia. Does calling you Amy bother you?
Amelia seems uncertain.
I did not mean to imply that it is a bother. It is merely a surprise. Aw, well, don't worry, Amy. It's a cute name.
Amelia fidgets as Leanna calls her Amy. She tries to speak, but for once seems flustered.
Well, it seems that
Let's leave Amy alone and move on.
We stare at Zach.
What?
you called her Amy.
It's shorter than 3 syllables. Why wouldn't I call her that if she's okay with it?
Amelia sighs.
Well, If that is what you prefer, then I suppose you may call me as such.
Kara grins and pats Amelia on the head.
I knew you'd come around.
Amelia at first blinks in confusion. As Kara continues to head pat her, she doesn't really seem to know what to do with herself. Eventually, she just lets it happen. Although Amelia tries to act cool, the touch of pink in her cheeks gives away her true thoughts. I think she likes the nickname. Guess her name is Amy now. Since everyone else is calling her Amy, I guess I may as well too. Plus his accent is shorter than the alternative.
Anyway, let's get going.
We resume our journey. For the next 3 days, we travel on foot during the day and make camp at night. Leanna continues my casting trainings, but I've made no progress. I've begun to feel discouraged, and although she tries hard to hide it, I can sense the frustration Leanna feels. Why am I having such a difficult time casting? There must be something I'm missing. Since Leanna won't give up on my trainings, I resolve to push past my disappointment and continue to focus myself. On the 4th day, we travel the entire day and set up camp in the evening. As we've done in all our past trainings, Zach, Kara, and Amelia take care of the setup while Leanna and I find an open area to train. I still dread whenever it's time to train as I haven't shown any progress. It's starting to feel like a useless chore at this point.
Ready?
I reluctantly nod.
Alright. Just like we've practiced, focus on channeling through the manipulator.
As I've done so many times before, I try to do exactly what Leanna says. Just like all my previous attempts, it doesn't work.
You've got this. You just have to focus.
I'm focusing. I strain with all my might, simultaneously trying to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to be focusing on and wondering if this is all actually bogus anyway. Leanna watches me intently, waiting for the spark of magic which doesn't appear. I let go and breathe out in frustration.
Try again.
Have we considered the possibility that only humans from Terra can cast? Leanna's voice is firm.
Just try again.
With a heavy sigh, I bring my hand up again and try again. As is expected, nothing happens. This is completely pointless. I lower my hand. Maybe I'm just not meant to cast. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind pushes me off my feet and knocks me to the ground. Leanna glares at me, a fierce look on her face.
Get up.
I cough as I catch my breath and push myself to my feet. What the hell? Leanna raises her arm again.
Deflect this.
Deflect? What does she mean by deflect? I can't use my sword to stop a gust of wind. I end up taking another hit and sway unsteadily on my feet.
I said deflect.
I balk at the sternness in her tone. Her entire demeanor has changed from a calm and patient teacher to a dangerous mage knight. What's gotten into you? She ignores me and aims another shot of magic. This time I jump out of the way, but she is relentless. She lines up another shot. I don't know what you mean by deflect. Leanna sends another gust after me, which I only narrowly dodge. Before I can get my bearings, another shot of magic comes at me. And then another. Would you just... And another. Hold on! And another. My breathing is short and anger warms my blood. She's shooting off wind blasts so quickly I don't have time to think or move. Her attacks are relentless and keep knocking me down. Another gust of wind soars towards me. Leanna, stop! I take that blast, and although it's just as powerful as the others, this time I maintain my footing.
That's not deflecting.
She frowns in concentration as she ramps up another attack. Then she lets loose another gust of wind. I try to block with my arms, but this blast is stronger than the last and hurls me into the air. I crash painfully on the ground, but force down the pain and get back onto my feet. My breathing is ragged and my body is sore. Leanna is already channeling another attack. I don't know what's gotten into her, but I can't keep taking these hits. As she launches another attack, the anger bulbs inside of me and boils over. I throw out my hand and feel the anger shoot down my arm and out of my glowing manipulator in a gust of wind which knocks the blast away. Leanna gasps and drops her attacks.
You did it!
I stare at my arm too bewildered to even comprehend what is happening. Suddenly Leanna is laughing loudly. As things calm down, I notice the rest of the group is already here. They must have heard the commotion.
He casted?
Leanna grins broadly.
He did! He finally cast!
That's amazing!
me. The realization slowly dawns on me. I casted that. My eyes grow wide and I split into a huge grin. Yes! I can't believe I did it! Leanna's grinning from ear to ear. Even Zack cracks a small smile and nods. Amelia watches us curiously.
I assume you used the technique which we had previously discussed.
Wait, what? Leanna looks sheepish and refuses to make eye contact. What technique? The high from my casting begins to wear off, and I remember the mix of anger and confusion I felt from the attacks. You mean you guys thought it would be a good idea to just randomly start attacking me? Leanna shakes her head, looking a mixture of worried and guilty. Amelia calmly responds.
Indeed.
I didn't expect her to so bluntly agree. Why?
You were making no progress on your training, and I believed a new strategy was necessary. One such method is to utilize the ingrained need for survival. When placed in high stress, dangerous situations, the human body will use all its resources to ensure survival. By putting you in such a situation, your response to protect yourself enabled you to tap into the manipulator and channel energy.
I consider what Amelia said. Everything happened so fast, but once I realized there was no way to talk my way out of Leanna's attacks, I knew there was only one way out.
I'm really sorry. Amelia felt this was the best way for you to learn since you didn't seem to be getting it my way.
She trails off.
I hope I wasn't too hard on you.
Please be gentle next time. I can't deny that the strategy worked, and she does seem sorry about it. I smile reassuringly. I guess I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time you plan on surprise tagging me, maybe you can hit me a little less hard. Leanna looks sheepish.
I'm sorry. I thought my casts were reserved.
If that's what you call reserved, then remind me to never get on your bad side. So what now? Should I try it again?
Are you feeling up to it? If you need to take a break, we can do that.
I think I should be okay. As the words leave my mouth, my arm stings and I feel a wet spot on my elbow. When I look down, I notice blood on my shirt. On second thought, maybe a break is a good idea. Do you think you can give me some water? Leanna nods and goes back towards camp. I twist my arm around and take a look. It's just a shallow cut. It must have fallen on a rock or something. I know Amelia bought a bunch of first aid items. Where did she put them? I'm about to go look for them when a roll of gauze drops in my hands. Looking up, I see Zack.
I thought you might need this.
Thanks. He nods and leaves me to do my business. I peel off a layer of gauze and awkwardly try to wrap it around my arm. This is a lot harder to do one-handed than I thought. The gauze unrolls too quickly, and one side drops before I can catch it. I hear a sigh and Amelia comes over. Without a word, she grabs the gauze and deftly wraps it around my arm, then secures it. Thanks. Like Zack, she merely nods before returning to her business. Leanna returns with a water bottle and glances in surprise at my arm.
Were you hurt?
It's just a scratch. She nods. I get to my feet and we return to camp. After we've all had a chance to eat and relax, we get ready for bed. For once, as soon as I lay my head down, exhaustion overtakes me and I fall right to sleep. We wake up the next morning and continue our travels. After my last burst of magic, I've tried to replicate that feeling of casting. Although I'm finally seeing improvement, I still can't cast as well as I hope. The result of my casting is just a weak tendril of magic, but at least it's something. Leanna's spirits have been lifted too, and she continues my training with renewed enthusiasm. A couple of days pass before the trees become denser as we reach the woods. We must be on the right track. At first, the walk is easy as the trees line a well-worn path, but the deeper into the forest we traverse, the more careful we become of our steps as the wild undergrowth tangles our legs. The pongo wobbles unsteadily over the roots and debris on the ground, then hops onto my shoulder.
Boy.
The canopy overhead thickens, blocking out much of the sunlight. Leanna glances uneasily around her. Noticing Leanna, Zack glances around too and becomes grave.
I think we stumbled into the Forest of Grieving.
Leanna balks.
Grieving?
The pongo looks concerned.
Boy?
Zack nods. Kara looks curiously at Zack, then watches Leanna gaze suspiciously around her. She seems to put two and two together and grins mischievously.
Isn't that the one with all the trapped souls?
Leanna's eyes widen and her voice trembles.
Trapped souls?
Is every forest in this place haunted? My eyes widen. This forest is haunted too? Why is every forest haunted? Zack and Kara share a glance and hide a smile. What? What is it?
Do you want to know why they're trapped?
Leanna vigorously shakes her head.
Nope, I do not want to know. In fact, none of us want to know.
Amelia puts her hands on her hips.
Evidently, Zack, you were misinformed, as there is no such place as the Forest of Grieving.
No, there definitely is a forest of grieving. Right, Kara?
Absolutely.
If that is true, it is certainly not here.
Leanna pouts, her face bright red.
You guys are the worst.
She rushes closer to Amelia and pointedly ignores Zack and Kara, who pretend to hide their amusement. The Pongo shoots the two of them dirty looks.
Poi. That's right, Pongo.
She scoops him into her arms and hugs him into her chest. The Pongo doesn't protest. We continue to walk in silence. As we venture further within the forest, the air feels thick and heavy. The canopy thins out, but the trees themselves have knotted and thick bark, making them seem very old. They brighten with an ethereal blue-green luminescence. Does anyone else feel that? The Pongo squirms in Leanna's grasp and hops out before exploring the forest.
This place is loaded with magical energy.
Is that why it's glowing?
The natural formation of crystals is what gives it its coloration.
I take my time admiring the natural beauty of the place. Feels like a scene from a fairy tale. Peeking out from behind a tree is a small pink Pongo. My Pongo hops over to her, and when she realizes she's been spotted, she hops out into view and tilts her head curiously.
Boy?
The pink Pongo looks over at Leanna and gives her a wide grin. Leanna gasps as it hops closer to her.
How cute!
She reaches out towards the pink Pongo, who hops into her arms.
Aw, she likes me.
Leanna squeals excitedly and hugs her close. Another Pongo peeks out from behind a bush and hops over to Leanna. Her grin grows even wider. She opens her arms and the Pongo hops in, much to Leanna's delight.
Another Pongo. What?
Even more Pongos pop out from behind the trees and bushes and begin to surround Leanna, who watches them with joy.
So many Pongos.
She reaches out to all of them and they each openly receive her affection.
Boy.
The chorus of poise increases, even more emerge, and soon even Leanna is overwhelmed by the sheer number of Pongos. Zack stands as close to the edge of the trees as possible and as far away from the Pongos as possible. His hands hover protectively over his discharges as he eyes the Pongos suspiciously. Amelia moves from Pongo to Pongo, seemingly studying the variations. Kara joins in and plays with the Pongos closest to her. As even more Pongos filter out into the clearing, Leanna's eyes fill with tears.
Too many Pongos.
Oh no, Leanna, are you okay? Her smile is still wide as ever as she kneels on the ground, holding as many Pongos as she can in her arms, but the tears continue to flow. She speaks between sobs.
I can't hug them all.
Kara comes over and puts a comforting arm around her.
It's okay. Just hug as many as you can.
Leanna sniffles and nods. My Pongo looks up at me with a wondering gaze. Yeah, too many of these suckers. I stand by Zack as far away from the Pongos as possible. He gives me a nod, knowing nod, which I return. From among the Pongos emerges a Pongo larger than the others. He has a twist of leaves, which he wears around his head, and as he passes, all the other Pongos seem to settle down in reverence. He pauses in front of Leanna.
Boy.
Leanna blinks.
Boy.
That was a long string of boys. Yeah, we'll let her do the talking. She seems to be the expert on Pongo stuff. I certainly have no idea what's going on. My Pongo steps up to the larger Pongo and speaks in a series of poise.
Boy.
The larger Pongo seems surprised, then nods.
Boy.
He turns around and hops deeper into the forest. My Pongo faces us.
Boy, boy!
He tilts his head to indicate the forest, then follows the larger Pongo. Should we follow them? Zack shrugs, but Leona nods.
Yeah, I think we should. At the very least, we can't leave him.
What if he's leading us to danger?
It would seem that the other Pongos respect the larger Pongo. He may be the equivalent of a king or other authority figure. If he wished us harm, we would already know.
Besides, the most harm a Pongo can do is cuddle us.
We better get a move on before we lose them. We follow the Pongos further into the forest. Some of the other Pongos tag along, popping in and out of the trees. Never seen so many Pongos in one place before. What are they all doing here? Eventually, we stop in front of a crumbling stone structure.
Boy. Boy?
The Pongo leader nods.
Boy, boy, boy. Boy! Boy, 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 boy. Boy. Boy, boy.
It would seem the Pongos have escorted us to the temple we seek.
How do they know? Can they understand us?
More than likely, our Pongo friend inquired as to the reason for the migration of so many Pongos in one area. He must have been curious about their source of energy, which just happens to be the Earth Temple.
I narrow my eyes at Amelia. This seems very coincidental. Do you speak Pongo?
No, but that rationale should be common sense.
Zack snorts, then tries to cover it up. I look back at the temple. It clearly hasn't been touched in a long time, and half of it is falling apart. Is it safe to go in there? Kara seems excited.
Only one way to find out.
She marches towards the temple.
But what about the Pongos? Won't they be upset?
Especially considering we intend to absorb the energy.
The temples were built over areas of naturally high concentrations of energy, so the temples continuously amass energy at an accelerated rate. Therefore, the amount which we will absorb will be replenished fast enough to not adversely affect the Pongo's ecosystem.
Why don't people live near these pockets of continuous energy?
The only energy we are able to manipulate is extracted from crystals. This form of energy, which resides in the air, cannot be manipulated or absorbed by humans.
She pauses.
Humans of Terra, that is. In contrast, Pongos are able to absorb all forms of energy, including airborne.
I see. Either way, it sounds like the Pongos will be okay. Leona nods and we follow Kara. The Pongos make no move to stop us, but continue to watch us curiously.
Come on!
We approach the temple's entrance. To be continued. Hello. Thank you for playing Crystalline Early Access Episode 2. We hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot more exciting things to come. Please look forward to future episodes. Player feedback helps us tremendously when it comes to knowing what you enjoyed and what we can improve. Please consider writing a review on Steam. To follow development and hang out with the Pixel Fade team, please feel free to join us on our Discord channel. Maybe later. Thanks again for your support. We hope to see you in the next chapter of Crystalline. So we can only wonder who this guy in the middle is. So that's the fire, that's the water, wind, earth, they're all female, and that's the darkness. So apparently we have the full human party at least, and we're going to pretend this is just some sort of like splash of ink that was some sort of artist error or something. But I figured episode 2 would at least cover the Earth Temple. Because there's supposed to be a total of 5. What I was thinking was each one was going to be a temple. The first one was fire, second was earth, third to be wind or water, and then fourth would be the other one, fifth being shadow. But yeah, that was a lot shorter than I intended. So, that's kind of it for now. I mean, I'll look to see what visual novel I do next. I know I received a request for Doki Doki Literature Club. I still have to finish Dies Irae. And I'm still working on some secret projects in the background. There's 2 that I want to do, it's just I don't know how far along they'll get. So, are we able to look at the gallery to see if I actually... Oh, that's right. They unlock the gallery after you complete the game, so... Yeah, that's kind of it, I guess. So, I don't know when episode 3 is coming out, but we'll return to this when the time comes, but we're kind of done for now. I'm the Hero of Light, thanks for watching, and goodbye.